We're back. We've got another 10-inch frying pan I got from that batch that my mother-in-law gave me for my birthday. You can see it's got some rust. It's got a little bit of flaking and corrosion and some other things that we're going to get cleaned off. We're going to use electrolysis this time instead of the lye tank and see how that turns out for us. Before we go out to the tank, I do want to point out, I don't actually know who made this pan. You can see that there's no trademark on the back. It does have a manufacturer's mark down there by the handle. I think that's an O. It has a heat ring around it, but not a whole lot else in the way of identifying information. Some of the manufacturers that also made generics oftentimes had things that made it really easy to identify them. Lodge, Griswold, they all fall into that category. This one, not so much. So maybe once some of the gunk comes off of it from the electrolysis tank, we'll be able to better figure out who actually made this thing. But until then, we're just going to have to wonder. We're out at the electrolysis tank. I'm setting up. Basically, all electrolysis is the process of using direct current electricity to go from one metal to another through an electrolyte solution. In this case, our electrolyte solution is just water and washing soda, and you use metal you want to clean, in this case our pan, and then we use a couple sacrificial pieces of steel, and we hook a manual car battery charger up to it. That's what those jumper leads are there. So there I am. I'm just topping off the water, make sure the whole pan is covered before we start. And then I'll hook the electrodes up. The black goes to the cast iron you're cleaning, and that causes the electrons to jump from the can to the sacrificial pieces of steel, which splits the water that it's resting in into hydrogen and oxygen, and that bubbling effect is what cleans the pan. Effectively, it's just little effervescent bubbles on the cast iron pan that basically knock anything that isn't made out of iron or steel loose. You can see it just plugged it in and just adjusting the electrodes, and you can see it's already starting to bubble. It happens pretty quickly. The process itself can take a couple days per side of the pan. Here we'll kick it into fast forward and watch it go overnight. All that black stuff that you see floating there at the top is seasoning and rust and any other gunk that might be on the pan. I typically will leave it in overnight. I try to be patient. And, the temptation is when you see all that nice foam and gunk coming off the pan and floating to the top, the temptation is to check it, but I try to be patient and let it go for about a day. So here we are. I got home from work and wanted to check, and if it was ready, I'll turn it around and do the inside part of the pan. I did the outside to start because that was the worst. Yep, get myself tangled in the wires there. You can see the backside of the pan. I didn't do a real good job of showing this. I wasn't really concentrating on filming so much as I was just trying to get the pan turned around. So I get the pan turned around. We'll drop it back in. We'll set it up for another, I don't know, 18, 24 hours, something like that. This one has been going much quicker than they do in some cases. So get it plugged back in, turned back on, and away we go. All right, back, we're bubbling, doing the front side. Kind of same song, second verse. We'll speed things along, and hopefully we'll be ready to go just as soon as I wake up and pull this thing out of the electrolysis tank. So it's the next morning. See, I haven't even put shoes on. Unplug the car battery charger, the electrolysis leads, and pull this thing out, see what we got, see if it needs to go for a couple more hours. But luckily for us, no. You can see it's down to kind of gray, bare iron. There are a few spots on it, but those are actually all loosened at this point. They come loose. You can see just finger touch, just smearing them around. So we're going to take it back into the kitchen, do just a freshwater rinse, because really all that's on it is effectively soap and water. So we'll get it rinsed out. I used steel wool to just make sure any little pieces that might still be sticking come off the pan. get it rinsed off, nice and clean. Take it over to the stove top, get it heated up, let it dry out, let it warm up. Makes that seasoning mix that I use go on just a little easier when it's warm. Oh, there I left it on maybe a little longer, and it's definitely getting warm. We get it all seasoned up, throw it into the oven, 400 degrees for about an hour 15 minutes, and come back and do this a couple more times, and then we should have us a perfectly well seasoned pan. All right, this is the last seasoning layer going onto the pan before it goes into the oven one last time, and we should come out with something that looks pretty. This pan's turning out really nice. And after an hour and 15 minutes in the oven, here it is. It's looking really nice. Good seasoning layer all three times. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything too unusual on the back side of the pan that would let us know where it was made or who made it. You got a heat ring, a little notch, a manufacturer mold mark, but really couldn't find a whole lot more else about this particular pan. So here's the before picture. You can see what kind of shape it was in, and boom, there's the after. That's a pretty looking pan. Hey, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.